Now, do you think there is a divide in California where there are some people that are doing well financially, that make a lot of money, and for them, $100 a month is a donation to help the environment, but they don't really understand the other side, that $100 can be somebody's food or...
Yeah, over the last 10 years, I will say that the economics of our nation have changed significantly, and California probably being a pinnacle of that change, and that the middle class is the shrinking class, and there's more people either going towards the lower income, and there are some people that are elevating, but there's more that are shrinking, that are going in the smaller income because of the increased costs, and the employment is not commensurate with the demand or the costs, and so, as you indicated, a lot of the people who are the policymakers are in that upper class, and so they're not able to relate in the same way as to the impacts, because it sounds like only a few cents per gallon, and that really does not impact their bottom line. But people who are struggling, it severely impacts them, because they've got families to feed, and they've got all these expenses that are spiraling up. They have insurance costs, which is a whole nother challenge in itself. It's not being managed very well. And they have all these other electricity, power issues are also a concern. And there's just a lot to manage. And when you have less income and less resources, it's very smothering. And it's very, very hurtful. And I think, as I said, we want clean air and we want clean water too. But I don't see that this particular policy gets us to the point to where it justifies the sacrifice being made.
And you talk to your constituents on a regular basis, right? Do you go meet with them? And what's the main complaint?
And especially when I'm out of session, which is when we're out of session, which is basically September through December, we travel a lot, and I go to a lot of communities. And being from a smaller community, I never saw elected officials ever, and I want to try to change that. And as an elected official who's very sympathetic and raised in a smaller community, for some reason, it means something when an elected official at the state level shows up in their community to engage them, and they have a chance to tell you what frustrates them about their government. They should have that access and that approach, and it's disturbing when I can't give them refreshing news other than they need to make their voices be heard and not give up and not become cynical.
How small of a communities do you go to? Like, what's the smallest you've been to the city?
I've had gatherings as few as a dozen people at the meeting, and I've driven hundreds of miles to meet with those people.
And these are small towns, right?
These are towns of about 3,000 or 4,000 people. And
they're surprised that you come.
They're very surprised, very surprised. But that's America, right? Having a chance to have access to your elected officials. It's hard to do when you represent 500,000 people, which is roughly what we represent. But when you go to a smaller community, it's a different kind of feedback, and it's a different kind of meaningful. You're not going to really glean a lot of return votes out of that. And I think sometimes we're blinded by that as our motivation of elected officials, because these other people throughout the year they need to have access to their elected persons, and it's fun to actually be one of those people. We as elected official in my office, we travel a lot of miles every month, and that's the expectation in my mind.